Okay, shalom, everybody. We're coming to you today from House of Torah here in Vanceboro, North Carolina. We're going to answer our questions for lesson 32 and 33. Questions for lesson 32. What are terumas and masoros?
Agricultural tithes.
Agricultural tithes.
Tithes.
Tithes. Every year they had agriculture. Whatever they brought in, they had to pay tithes on the agriculture.
Oh, okay, I thought it was titles. I think it's two titles.
What is Tish B'Av?
New Year for trees.
That's the New Year for trees, page 237. Are Noahides obligated in terumas and masoros?
No.
No, it's voluntary. So when you're supposed to let the land rest for 7 years and all that, then you let the land rest and all that, that's only in the land, so that wouldn't apply to us. Okay, number 1. Why don't women recite the Berachos?
Because in the times of the prophet Jeremiah, worship of the sun was widespread among women.
Okay. I want to show you something. I have a question on this. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. In Ezekiel chapter 8, I wrote it on your paper right there. Ezekiel chapter 8, 14 through 16. It says, Then he brought me to the door of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. We know who Tammuz is, right? Tammuz was the baby child from Semiramis and Nimrod, which formed the Trinity. Okay? 15. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination than these. Did everybody pick up on what I just said? The women were doing what?
Abomination.
The women got their back toward the north, and they weeping for Tammuz. Okay? But he says, I'm going to show you a greater abomination. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, the door of the temple of the Lord between the porch and the altar were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord and their faces toward the east. And they worshiped the sun toward the east. What do y'all see?
Men were worshiping the sun in the temple,
And the women were doing what?
weeping for Tammuz.
Okay. Tammuz got killed by a wild boar. That's why every year they celebrate 40 days of Lent and all that stuff, because they're weeping for Tammuz. Don't forget, Tammuz was Nimrod and Semiramis' baby. I think the story is she gets thrown out of heaven, lands in the Euphrates River as an egg. She hatches out into an egg, and she gets pregnant by the sun's rays, which was supposed to be from Nimrod, and out comes Semiramis. Yes, it's very, very crazy. Okay. Question number 2. My question on that is, why come it's restricted for the women but not for the men? Because the men was worshiping the sun. Anybody can give me an answer on that?
That's a good question.
Okay. Number 2. Gentile kings are counted from the month of
Tishrei.
Tishrei. Page 316. Number 3. Who was the last to switch to the Gregorian calendar? Russia in 1918. Number 4. Can I tell y'all the Jewish people still have the same calendar?
They do.
Yeah. That's why you have to see what day, when you're doing things like we be celebrating Hanukkah, you have to look and see what dates Hanukkah is to their calendar.
Corresponding to what
to makes it to the Gregorian calendar, because the Gregorian calendar is totally different than the Jewish calendar. Number 4, how long does it take the sun to return back to its original position?
28 years.
28 years. That was in the lesson, in the teaching in lesson 33. Number 5, what is an appropriate custom to do in the memory of Moses on the 7th of Adar?
Lighting a 24-hour memorial candle.
Lighting a 25 memorial candle. Well, guess what? I always thought lighting candles for the dead was a Catholic practice. Maybe the Catholics took it from them. I don't know. A lot of things are often imitated. People say, well, that's pagan. Go back and see what the origins are. The pagans hijacked a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's like my buddy says, the pagans use toilet paper. That means we're supposed to use corn cobs. Number 6, what is the only major holiday in the month of Adar? Purim. Number 7, when do Jewish kings start their second reign?
Nisan.
The month of Nisan. Number 8, Passover is a prayer recited for what? Too much what destroys what?
Dew, water, and grain.
Passover is a prayer recited for dew. Too much water destroys grain. They just got, I seen on the news the other day, they just got a big rain over there that they weren't expecting and whatever. In biblical times, I think it rained twice a year over there. So they were very cautious and very, you see things in the Bible about the latter rain and stuff like that. Well, that's why God made the dew come up from the ground and water the earth. Because if it rained all the time, what would it do? It would flood your crops out. So they were praying for the dew, but they didn't want too much rain to destroy the grain. So when you look at it, it all goes back to who? It goes back to Hashem. If he don't bless us, you know, we in trouble. You know, he talks about if they don't behave themselves, that he'll hold back the rain, and then they won't have nothing to eat. Number 9, the blessing on the cycle of the sun is what?
Berkas Hashama.
I think that's how you say it. Berkas Hashama. Number 10, how is the 7th of Adar relevant to Moses?
The day that he was born and his death.
Moses was born and he died on the same day, 120 years apart. Number 11, what day does Hashem decide if we will have a famine?
The 15th of Nisan.
Which is what?
The first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Isn't it? Or is it, Passover begins on the 14th of Nisan? So
I thought it was Passover, but
I guess it is Passover. It begins on the evening of the 14th.
Yeah, I thought it was Passover, so I have to look and see.
I'm not sure.
When was the sun placed in the heavens? This is an interesting question.
The first hour on the evening of the 4th day of the week, Tuesday night, page 318.
I have someone who's into this kind of stuff looking into this lesson on the sun coming around 28 years and this question that we just had right there about the first day or whatever. Number 13. Why should Noahide acknowledge the 7th of Adar?
Because it's when the Noahide laws were given, I guess.
It's when the transmission of the Noahide laws happened at Mount Sinai with Moses. Number 14. What is the one day holiday for Noahides?
Nissan 15.
Nissan 15. And this last question was already answered last week, but we'll tackle it again. According to their book, Jesus came the first time as a baby in a manger. Oh, I'm sorry. There is no such thing as the second coming of Jesus. We can prove it from their book, the False Testament, the New Testament. Can anyone tell me how we can prove it? This is my answer. What's y'all's?
The same thing as yours.
Yeah, because it'll be the third one.
According to their book, Jesus came the first time as a baby in a manger. Then he died, arose from the dead 3 days later. Then he went back to heaven. Then he came back to earth for 40 days. So this would be his second coming. So if he was to come back, this would be his third coming. Coming back. So according to their book, there's no such thing as a second coming. How many of you have ever thought about this? Such a book of fairy tales, it's unbelievable nonsense. The problem is when people ask you about something and you try to show them what their book says, they get mad at you. You didn't change nothing. You just showing them what their book says. When you make them aware of all the contradictions and the write out lies and the made up stories in their book, they get mad at you instead of getting mad at their book. Can anybody explain that?
By their fruits, you shall know them.
The truth will what?
Set you free.
It'll set you free. But the only way the truth sets a person free is they have to accept it for truth. Anybody got anything on today's questions?
Yeah, on the last one, I didn't really see it until last week, which is amazing. But if you really think about it, it is true, because if you say that Jesus died, he had to come back a second time, and then if he's coming a second time, it will be the third one. It's
We already
very
did that,
logical
yeah.
thing. It's just something that logic completely went out of our realm because of our beliefs that they taught us when we were little.
Yeah.
So our beliefs precede truth, which is just completely wrong because beliefs is just beliefs, So truth is truth, and I didn't see it until last week when Miss Dinah said something like, wait a minute, that is so true. If he died, rose again, that's the second coming.
Yeah.
And then the third, this will be the third. How can you deny that fact?
But we didn't say it. We didn't say it. Their book says that he came in the manger.
Yeah.
He died. Mary said, my Lord, he said, don't touch me. I have not ascended to my Father. Their book says he went back to heaven, came back and stayed on earth for 40 days and talked to people. Then he went back to heaven. So any way you want to slice of the dice, even if you're a lawyer, you can't say he ain't already been twice.
Yeah, if you take it to a court, you cannot defend that.
The New
That's
Testament,
just
right.
completely-
The New Testament would not hold up in a court of law.
No, it's right. Just the fact that it's amazing that even in a court of law, that argument will not stand as truth. You still, you're so blind in your beliefs that even in court, cannot stand in court. We still, there's people that say, wait a minute, the beliefs are higher than truth and the law. This is amazing, it's just we're really blind.
Oh, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled,
Yeah.
fooled, whatever name you could come up for it. We deceived. We really swallowed it hook, line, and sinker because there was somebody here and they were trying to figure out when Jesus was born or whatever. And I said, there's really no way to nail it down or whatever. He said, yeah, but when he comes back the second time, I said, he can't come back the second time. He said, what are you talking about? It's been 3-4 years ago. And I explained, did he come as a baby? He said, yes. How many times? He said, 1. I said, but he came back, right? He said, yeah. I said, so that would be how many times? He said, 2. I said, but he stayed here for 40 days and then he went back. So if he comes back, that would be the third coming. He said, yeah, but Hebrews says it's appointed unto man once to die, and after this judgment. You see how people try to throw you off? That has nothing to do with what we were talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said, that has nothing to do with it. He never would admit that I was telling the truth. All I was doing was showing him what his book said. I'm glad that the New Testament is not our book, but I think I was raised with the understanding so I can help people come out of idolatry. That's my mission.
Yeah.
We teaching the Noahide stuff and everything, but I try to throw a New Testament question in at the end to try to make people aware. If you can stimulate thought, a lot of times if people get mad, they'll think about it. Then about, wait a minute, what did he say or what did she say? And then they look at it and say, you know what? That's right. So it makes a big difference. It's like this right here. If I was to take a piece of paper and write Stanford and Sons on it and pass it around and then say, bring it back here to me. I say, what did that paper say, Bethia? You say, Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
And I say, what did it say? He say, Sanford and Son. And I say, did y'all read the paper? Yeah, I read the paper. And I would say, look at it. It says Stanford and Son. But we so used to Sanford and Son, we automatically think we know what we're talking about. Right. It's like a man took 10 students. He took 10 students and put them in a room with a piece of paper with a circle drawn on it. He said, there's 2 circles on this paper. He said, there's something different about these 2 circles. You got 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, he came in. He said, okay, what you got? Every one of them said something different about them circles. You know, there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
He took another 10 students and put them in that room. The same paper, he said, these 2 circles, I want you to tell me what's different about them. 10 minutes later, he went in. All 10 students said, there ain't nothing different about them. You trying to trick us. The power of suggestion, planting something in somebody's mind. When you're a baby, Jesus was born in the manger. He was born of a virgin, all that. Now you're 50 years old. You're scared to question anything because you done been trained. You know what I'm saying? So when you go back and you look at, but wait a minute, when did virgins start having babies? I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then you start seeing that it's all paganism and they just copied it to make stories. You're like, wait a minute. How could I have been so stupid? The only reason people don't see the New Testament what it is because they won't stop and look at it. And when you show them, they get mad at you. Why get mad? If somebody shows you the truth, you should hug them and thank you. Say, hey, brother, what else have I been to see? You know?
If I would have heard last week about this third one, if I would have heard this during Christianity, when I was in Christianity, I don't know, I can't predict what I would have thought. But I will question it. I will question it for sure. At least question it and look at it. It's just that it just came to me last week. Because even I've been here for a little while, and I have not heard of it, so it wasn't true to me yet. But if I would have heard it when I was in religion, my thing is like, okay, how can I debate and debunk this? I can't, because the book is telling you. And the book is telling you that, and it's like, how can I debunk it? It would have went. I know myself. I would have gone and studied at least and thought.
You'd have went to the pastor and he would have said, "Whoever told you that, don't pay them no attention. They just trying to start trouble."
I wouldn't have dismissed it.
They just trying to start trouble. That's all.
Between someone, and I'm not trying to put myself high as righteous. It's just at least consider. Because the evidence is there. I mean, if you don't consider it, your beliefs are more important or higher than truth.
Right. Well, some people don't want truth, and some people can't be challenged.
Yeah.
Anybody can come here and challenge me. Get all the books you need and sit down. I don't need a Bible. Challenge me, and I'll show you why I believe what I believe and give you scripture to back up what I believe. But don't get mad at me. It's like in John. Jesus says, he's talking to the disciples, he says, I'm leaving. And where I'm going, you can't go.
Right.
And Peter said, well, where are you going, Lord? Then 2 chapters later, Jesus says, I'm leaving. I'm going back to my Father. And none of you asked me where I'm going. I'm sorry, Peter just asked you where you were going. Did they really think that people were so stupid that they couldn't see that? Yeah. Because guess what? I believed it for 40-something years.
Yeah.
But when I started looking at it with fresh eyes, I was like, wait a minute, this just ain't. Like the other week, me and him was talking about the question we had up there. No man can get to the Father unless the Father grants him permission or whatever. But then Jesus says, no man can come to the Father except it come through me. Well, which one is it, Jesus? Do I need to talk to the Father or I need to talk to you? So, I mean, we didn't say it, they say it. It's just a book of contradictions. It's a book of myth and fairy tales and made up fables and made up stories to try to get people away from Hashem. Just like the book of Hebrews, it's totally against Judaism. That's the only reason it was written. So that's our questions for today, everyone. If we can help you with anything, give us a call at 402-6655. Shalom.
Shalom.